When a store cuts its price, we all say the same thing. Demand went up. No, demand never moved. Something else did, and it has its own name. Miss it, and every market will fool you. So what moved? To see it, we have to build the most famous line in economics, the demand curve, from the ground up. And it starts with one thirsty guy. Today, we'll find out where the demand curve actually comes from, why it slopes downward, and the famous trap hiding inside two little words, demand and quantity demanded. By the end, that familiar phrase, when the price drops, demand goes up, will finally make sense, including the half of it that's wrong. That's the promise. Let's go meet a very thirsty Tom. You remember Tom, the coffee shopper, the cafe owner, the island chief, the detective, and last time our chef. Well, today, he's back to being a thirsty customer, peak summer, dripping with sweat, and in front of him, one ice-cold latte. So here's a question. That first cup, what's the most Tom would pay for it? When you're parched like this, he'd happily hand over, say, $8. That number, the most you'd pay for one unit, economists call your maximum willingness to pay. It sounds fancy, but it just means this. That first cup is worth $8 to Tom. So if the price is below 8, he buys. Above 8, he walks. That's our first brick. So Tom downs that first cup. Lifesaver. Now the second cup, still nice, but not quite as desperate as the first. Call it $6 this time. The third cup, $4. The fourth, $2. And by the fifth cup, he's so full he waves it away. You couldn't give it to him for free. Basically zero. Look at what's happening. Every extra cup is worth less to Tom than the one before it. Economists call this diminishing marginal benefit. Marginal just means one more, and benefit is the extra satisfaction measured in money. So diminishing marginal benefit means this. More is still better, but it gets better more slowly each time. Let's stand those per cup values up as bars. 8, 6, 4, 2, 50 cents. See that? A neat little staircase stepping down. Keep your eye on this staircase. It follows us the whole way. Let's pin down that staircase. Your marginal benefit is the extra satisfaction from one more unit converted into money, and that's the same as the most you'd pay for that one unit. So Tom's 864, those were his marginal benefits, cup by cup. What about total satisfaction? It keeps rising as the cups add up. It just rises more and more slowly. That's why the total benefit curve bends over and flattens, while the extra bit each cup adds, the marginal benefit, steps down like a staircase. One quick distinction, and we move on. Utility is satisfaction itself. Benefit is that satisfaction measured in dollars. They're technically different, but for now, this is all you need. So far, we've asked, what's a cup worth to me? Now flip it around. What does it cost me to buy one more? For a shopper, this part is simple. If a latte costs $4, the next one costs $4, and the one after that costs $4. The cost of one more cup is just the market price. Economists call this your marginal cost of consuming. So on top of the staircase, we can draw a flat line at $4. This isn't about the seller's costs. It's saying, to you, the buyer, one more cup costs exactly the price, and now the staircase and the price line are on the same screen. This is where it gets good. The rule is just one line. If a cup is worth more to you than the price, you buy it. If it's worth less, you don't. Watch Tom. The first cup is worth 8, and it sells for 4. Of course, he buys. The second worth 6, buys again. The third is worth exactly 4, the same as the price. When it's a tie, economists assume you buy. But the fourth cup, it's worth $2 and they want 4. That's a loss. So he stops. So at this price, Tom buys exactly 3 cups. He stops right where the value of one more equals its cost, where marginal benefit equals marginal cost. Now, where have you seen that before? Right, the MB equals MC from our earlier episodes. Back then, it felt abstract. Today, it's 3 cups of coffee right in front of you. Add up how much each cup was worth above what he paid, and that total is the reward Tom pockets from the whole deal. And it's biggest exactly here. There's something fun hiding here. Tom was willing to pay $8 for that first cup, but he only paid $4. So he came out $4 ahead. On the second cup, $2 ahead. On the third, he broke even. In other words, on every cup he bought, Tom walked away with more value than the money he handed over. This extra you get over what you paid has a name too, but we'll save that for next time. For today, just hold on to this. In a good deal, the buyer wins something too. That shaded gap above the price line, that's the buyer's slice. Here's the highlight of the day. Let's take that $4 price line and slide it up and down. If the price were $8, Tom buys only the first cup. 1. Drop it to $6 and he buys 2. $4, 3 cups. $2, 4 cups. See the pattern? The lower the price, the more cups clear the bar. So the more he buys. Let's plot those price and quantity pairs and connect them. $8, 1 cup. $6, 2 cups. $4, 3. The moment we connect the dots, watch. That jagged staircase turns into a smooth, downward sloping curve. That is the demand curve. And here's the key. The demand curve isn't some mysterious line handed to you. It's simply your falling willingness to pay, drawn as a line. That marginal benefit staircase was the demand curve all along. Why does it slope down? Nothing mystical. The lower the price, the more units are worth buying. It's just arithmetic. Let's get the word demand exactly right. Demand is the buying intention of someone who can actually pay. Unpack that, and it means you need both. The money to buy and the desire to buy. Want it, but can't afford it? Not demand. Can't afford it, but don't want it? Also not demand. The two have to meet before it shows up in the market as demand. And this whole curve we just drew, the full schedule of how much Tom wants to buy at every price, that is demand. Demand isn't a single number, it's an entire curve. Hold that thought for 30 seconds, because here comes the twist. So, back to that opening. The price of a latte just fell from $4 to $2. Did demand go up? Is that the right thing to say? No. Look, the curve is exactly where it was. It didn't shift an inch. What moved is Tom. He just slid along the curve from 3 cups to 4. Here's the famous trap. Demand is the whole curve. A price change does not move it. Quantity demanded is the single point where the curve meets the current price, and that point slides when the price changes. So when the price fell, what rose was not demand, it was quantity demanded. We call this the law of demand. When price falls, quantity demanded rises. When price rises, it falls. Remember the opening? The price dropped, so demand went up. Now you can fix it. What went up was the quantity demanded. The curve sat right where it always was, and that one-word difference is what separates people who read a market from people who get fooled by one. Let's bring it together. Today we built the demand curve from the ground up, starting with one thirsty Tom and a cup of coffee. Each extra cup is worth less than the last. Diminishing marginal benefit. You buy every cup whose value clears the price. Marginal benefit equals marginal cost. So a lower price means more cups are worth buying, and that is your downward sloping demand curve. In the end, the demand curve is nothing but your falling willingness to pay, drawn as a line. And today's one big takeaway. When the price drops, demand goes up should really be quantity demanded goes up. That single word decides everything. Next time, we'll ask what moves the whole curve. How a change in your income, your tastes, or the price next door shifts the entire line. That's the difference between a change in quantity demanded and a change in demand. Then we'll meet the other side, supply, and the place where the two meet and set the price. The market equilibrium. And here's your homework. Find a headline that says some demand surged. Then ask yourself one question. Did the whole curve shift? A real change in demand? Or did the price just move us along the curve? A change in quantity demanded? If you can ask that, you've got everything today was for. See you next time.